The Phoenix Suns are the definition of a team that's going all in. With 12 outgoing draft picks and no first rounders from now through 2030, they desperately need to cash in on the core group of players that they have now. Last season, their starting lineup wasn't the problem though, as only the Nuggets, Bucks, and Celtics had more efficient starting groups. So really, what's been the problem in Phoenix? Well, it comes down to two things: the team needing a true starting point guard and the team needing an improved bench. And with their moves this summer, there's a chance for the Suns to fix their mistakes from last season. Now, the Phoenix Suns starting group shared the rock quite a bit last season, as their starters averaged the third most assists per game in the entire league. That's even despite the fact that they had no player really taking over that point guard role, as no player averaged 7 or more assists per game, with Booker's 6.9 being the most of any starter. But when Book was out there playing the point guard role, the team thrived the most. In games where Devin Booker dished out 8 or more assists, the Suns had a great 19-6 record, with 9 of those wins coming against playoff teams. The Suns also had an 8-3 record when Booker dished out 10 or more assists, further showing they needed someone in that point guard role last season. Well, this offseason, they added the man that finished last season with the best assist-to-turnover ratio, Tyus Jones. The signing of Jones was one I was reminded of from this video of Jalen Rose interviewing Kevin Durant.
Big three. I love what y'all did at point guard. Yeah. That was clutch. So they do. What they do?
I totally forgot the team signed Jones, and this signing might be exactly what Phoenix needs. Tyus Jones played in 66 games last season and had 27 games where he recorded 8 or more assists, and 12 games last season where he recorded 10 or more assists. Jones also had less than 2 turnovers in 47 of his 66 games played last season, and for a Suns starting group that gave up the most turnovers in the entire league and the 6th most as a team, Jones' league best assist-to-turnover ratio checks off 2 boxes that the Suns needed to improve in. The other area the Suns struggled in last season that needed addressing was their bench. The Suns' bench averaged the least amount of points per game, the worst 3-point percentage, and the second least amount of assists per game last season. They also were the 12th most inefficient bench in the league. Now, with the Suns' signings and re-signings, they have a chance to see improvements with their bench unit. I say chance to see improvements because while I like 2 of their pickups, both guys dealt with injuries last season, and they are Mason Plumlee and Monte Morris. In terms of Plumlee first, I look at him as an improvement over Drew Eubanks, who the Suns had as their backup big last season, but Plumlee dealt with an MCL injury on November 6, 2023 that kept him out until January 5th of this year, and he was in and out of the lineup all season before playing through all 6 Clippers playoff games this past spring. Plumlee and Eubanks put up pretty similar stats, but Plumlee played the lowest minutes per game of his entire career and attempted the fewest field goal attempts of his career as well this past season. So while this will be his 12th NBA season and he's 34 now, taking a chance on Plumlee is not bad because at worst you're getting the same level of production you got from Drew Eubanks. In terms of Monte Morris, I think this is a very intriguing pickup. Morris was also hurt this season as he started the season in Detroit, only playing 6 games, then was traded to Minnesota where he played in 33 games. And Monte Morris struggled shooting the ball when he was on the court this season, coming in with his worst field goal percentage of his entire career, but he'll still be a very solid pickup for Phoenix if he can get back to his production from the 2022-23 season or just close to that, as he averaged 10.3 points and 5.3 assists on 48% shooting from the field and 38% shooting from 3 that season. And the reason I say that he'll be good enough for the Suns if he can do that is because Suns starter last season, Grayson Allen, will be moving to the bench this season, and he averaged 13.5 points on 49% shooting from the field and a league best 46% shooting from 3-point range. Allen will be a great option off the bench for Phoenix, and he's one of those guys who can easily slot back into that starting lineup if a starter is out with an injury or also resting. Also, another bench guy who can easily slot in as a starter is Royce O'Neal, who the Suns re-signed this offseason, and he's just a great 3-and-D guy to have coming off your bench, so that is a great re-signing for Phoenix in my opinion. Now, the Suns picked up 2 very solid rookies in Ryan Dunn and Jalen Bridges. Ryan Dunn was one of the best defensive guards and honestly just one of the best defensive players overall in the NCAA, finishing last season at Virginia with 1.3 steals and 2.3 blocks per game in 27.5 minutes played. He's also super athletic, but only attempted 0.5 threes per game as a freshman and only 1 3 per game last season as a sophomore, while only shooting 20% from 3. That's something he's certainly going to need to work on, but he was a first-round pick for a reason. He's a 21-year-old 6'8 guard with a 7'1 wingspan, and if he gets the chance to develop properly, he'll be a solid rotation player in the league for a long time. The Suns could have used some solid wings in their rotation this past season, and they got one now with Jalen Bridges, who I'm surprised went undrafted in the 2024 NBA draft. Bridges is a bit older for a rookie by NBA standards, but if he can give the Suns similar or just a bit better production than he did at Baylor this past season, that should be enough to get the job done. The 23-year-old put up 12.2 points per game on 46% shooting from the field, along with 1.1 steals per game on a great 41% shooting split from three-point range while making 2 threes per game. Taking a shot on an undrafted rookie like Bridges is a no-brainer for most NBA teams, especially a team like Phoenix, who could use some bench help as well as some youth on their bench as well. Bridges is on a two-way contract, so he'll spend time in both the G League and the NBA, but depending on how he performs, I can easily see him earning an NBA contract at some point this season. Now, the Suns hired Mike Budenholzer to replace Frank Vogel as their head coach, and I don't think Budenholzer is that good of a coach, but hopefully he knows enough to play Bol, who has a chance to be a huge X factor in Phoenix this upcoming season. Bol is a very solid player and has always looked good in my eyes when given the chance to play. He averaged 9.1 points, 5.8 rebounds, and 1.2 blocks per game in just 21.5 minutes while playing with Orlando 2 seasons ago, and only 5.2 points this past season while getting 10.9 minutes per game in Phoenix. He also averaged a crazy 42.3% from three-point range, albeit on just 1.2 attempts per game, but Bol without a doubt deserves playing time. I don't think there's much of an argument against it either, and even if they don't think he's physical enough to play the 5, that's okay because he can clearly shoot the ball and slot in nicely at the 4 position next to Mason Plumlee. The Suns also brought back Josh Okogie, who will be a decent enough bench option to come in and give them some minutes in my opinion, as he started 26 games in Phoenix 2 seasons ago and is still only 25 years old. And the Suns also brought back Damian Lee, who missed all of last season with a right knee injury, but did shoot 44% from 3 for Phoenix 2 seasons ago. And I say all of that to say that the Suns have a chance to be a very solid basketball team. But that's really what it is, all about luck being on Phoenix's side for them to be good. They made some very solid moves this offseason, but they're now in the second apron of the NBA's luxury tax and are going to have restrictions placed on them while still trying to make the necessary moves to cash in on their core group of guys. They have a number of guys with the ability to contribute on their bench now. It's just going to come down to how well can new Suns head coach Mike Budenholzer utilize his rotations and get the most out of his roster. With Kevin Durant turning 36 at the end of September and Suns owner Matt Ishbia seeming like he'll do whatever is necessary to bring this Suns franchise its first NBA championship, it's clear all of the Suns' chips are pushed to the front of the table. I want to know though in the comments what you think about the Phoenix Suns, their off-season moves, or anything relating to the NBA down below. Of course, if you enjoyed the video, then make sure to give it a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I am out. Peace.